morning, Pacheco family and friends. Today is Earth Day, and I am Nurse Edythe, and I would like to read to you one of my favorite stories I used to read to my children when they were your age on this day. It's called The Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Okay, we'll stop. At the far end of town, where the crinkled grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing except old crows, is the street of lifted Lorax. And deep in the crinkled grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today, where the Lorax once stood, just as long as he could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere? From the far end of the town where the crinkled grass grows, the old onceler still lives here. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the onceler. Don't knock on his door. He stays in his lurkum on top of his store. He lurks in his lurkum, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of mill-muffed moof. And on that special dank midnights in August, he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks. To tell how the Lorax was lifted away, he'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of the rope he lets down a tin pail, and here you have to toss 15 coins and a nail, and the shell of a great, great, great grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail and makes most of a careful count to see if you paid him the proper amount. When he hides what you have paid him away in his snubby, his secret strange hole in his groveless glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by the whisper my phone, for the secrets I'll tell you are for your ear alone. Slop! Down slops the whisper my phone to your ear. The old onceler's whispers are not very clear. And once they have come down through the snargly hose, and he sounds as if he's had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long, long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green, and the pond was still wet, and the clouds were clean. The song of the swans rang out in space. One morning I came down to this glorious place, and I first saw the trees, the truffula trees, bright-colored tufts on the tuffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloes frisking about in their barbalote suits as they played in the shade and in truffula fruits. From the rippleless pond came a comforting sound of the hummingbird fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those truffula trees. All of my life I've been searching for the trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt a great longing and joy in my heart. I knew what I'd do, what I do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down the truffle trees with one chop. And with a great skill with great speed, I took the soft tuft and I knitted a thneed. Then the instant I finished, I heard such a gadump. I looked, I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I chopped so down. It was a sort of a man. Describe him. That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sloppish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sorts of these sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongues. And I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset and shouted and puffed. What, that thing you made of the truffle or tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree, and I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This need is a fine something that all people will need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses. Yes, by far that. And you can use it for carpets and pillows and for sheets, or curtains or covers for bicycle seats. Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth that would buy that need. But the very next minute, I proved I was wrong, for he just had that minute, a chap came along, and he thought the need I had was great, and he happily bought 3 for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy. You never can tell what some people would buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I am busy, I told him. Be quiet, if you please. I rushed across the room in no time at all, built a radiophone. I put out a quick call. I called my brothers and uncles and aunts, and I said, listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Once-Lear family to get a mighty rich. Get over here fast, take the road north niche, turn left at Weehawken, shop right at the south switch. And in no time at all, the factory I built, the whole Once-Lear family was working full-time tilt. We were all knitting needs just as busy as bees, and the sound of the chopping of the truffle trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow. Now chopping on one tree at a time was so slow. So I quickly invented the super axe hacker, which whacked all 4 truffle trees in one smacker. We were making needs 4 times as fast as before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But by the next week, he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, I'm the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you have seen to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots, who played in the shade of the barbaloot suits, and happily lived eating the truffle of fruits. Now, thanks to you hacking all my trees to the ground, there's not enough truffle of fruits to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies. They love living here, but I can't let them stay. They have to go find food, and I hope they may. Good luck, boys, he cried as he sent them away. I, the once Laura, felt sad, but as I watched them all go, but business is business, and business must grow, regardless of the crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm, I most truly do not, but I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. The bigger my factory, the bigger my roads, the bigger my wagons, the bigger my loads. Of needs I shipped out, I was shipping them forth, to the south, to the east, to the west, and to the north. I went right on biggering, selling what needs, and biggering my money, which everyone needs. Then again, he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. I am the Lorax, he coughed and whiffed. He sneezed and snuffled and snargled, he sniffed. Once layer, he cried with a querulous croak. Once layer, you're making such smugglers smoke. My poor swans, why they can't sing any more. No one can sing who has smog in their throat. And so, said the Lorax, please pardon my cough. They cannot live here, so I am sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. And they may have to go fly for a month or a year to escape from the smog you smogged all around here. Once more, snapped the Lorax, he dangers was up. Let me say a few words about the glumperly glop. Your machinery chugs on all day and night without a stop, making gluppity glup, also sloppity slop. And what do you do with this leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old once Lyra man, you. You're glumpity glump. You're glumping the pool with a humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for the gills are all gummed. I'm sending them off, so their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary. And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, now listen here, Dad. All you do is yippity yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my rights, sir, and I'm telling you I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more truffle trees into needs, which everyone needs. In that very moment, I heard a loud whack, and from outside the fields came a sickening smack. An axe on a tree, then we heard the tree fall, the very last truffle tree of them all. No more trees, no more needs, no more work to be done. So in no time, my uncles and aunts and everyone all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggled stars. Now that was left was neath and bad smelling. Sky was my big empty factory, the Lorax and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance. Just gave me a very sad backward glance as he lifted himself by the seat of his pants, and I'll never forget the grim look on his face when he hoisted himself up and took leave of this place through a hole in the smog without even leaving a trace. And all that Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that means, well, I just couldn't guess. But that was long, long ago. But each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I have worried about it with all my heart. But now, says the Once-Lyra, now that you're here, the word of the Lorax seems to be perfectly clear. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to be done. To get better is not. So, Catch calls the Once-Lyra. He lets something fall. It's a truffle seed, the last one of all. You're in charge of the truffle seed, and your truffle trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new truffula, treat it with care, give it clean water, feed it with fresh air. Grow a forest, protect it from axes that back. And then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. Thank you very much, and I hope everyone enjoyed it, and have a wonderful Earth Day, and stay safe.